University of Rhode Island, we're concerned about the safety of our community, our students, our faculty, and our staff. We are fortunate to be on not only a beautiful campus, but also one that has historically and overall generally been a safe environment. But as we all know, unexpected incidences can occur at any time and in any place. We think it's both responsible and prudent to be prepared. I'm Christina Valentino, the University of Rhode Island's Vice President of Administration and Finance, and I oversee the Department of Public Safety. On behalf of the University of Rhode Island's President David Dooley, we have created this video with you in mind to make us all aware of the importance of being prepared both individually and as a campus community.
I'm Stephen Baker, Director of Public Safety here at the University of Rhode Island. This video will give you the information you need to respond safely and effectively in emergency situations. An additional way to stay informed is to sign up for emergency alerts. It's a tool we use to keep you informed about possible situations that pose a threat here at URI. All of these guidelines shown here have been prepared by the Department of Public Safety's Office of Emergency Management and reflect the new school safety protocols issued by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Remember, when emergencies occur, immediate and appropriate actions can save lives.
Lockdown means that individuals must seek immediate shelter and remain there until emergency officials issue instructions or declare that the emergency conditions have ended. These conditions can include criminal acts, such as an active or non-active shooter, where the suspect is believed to be on campus and possibly armed. If a criminal or violent act has occurred and the suspect is believed to be on campus, it may become necessary to lock down within the nearest campus building. Go to the nearest room or office, allowing others to seek refuge with you. Faculty and staff are requested to exercise leadership and provide direction to students. Close and lock all doors and windows. If the door does not have a lock, barricade it with nearby large items. Cover interior windows as well as door windows and turn off the lights. Stay away from windows and doors. Stay quiet and do not answer the door. Do not leave until instructed by law enforcement personnel. If you are involved in a situation where someone has entered the area and started shooting, or even if you hear shooting, follow these guidelines. If you find yourself in a life-threatening situation, there are 3 things to remember: run, hide, fight. If you can, run. Get out of the situation as quickly as possible. Be sure to evacuate, even if others don't want to. Leave your belongings and find a way to get out safely. Call the URI Police at 401-874-2121 as soon as it is safe to do so. If you can't get out safely, hide. Secure your hiding place as best you can by turning off lights, silencing your cell phone, and concealing yourself behind large objects to keep yourself out of view. As a last resort, and if your life is at risk, fight. Remember, run, hide, fight. The first responders are there to stop the shooter. Rescue operations cannot begin until the situation has been neutralized. Please cooperate with officers and follow all directions. If you see police entering the room, make sure your hands are visible and empty so they will know you are not a threat. Following these guidelines will assist us in implementing a quick response to an active shooter situation on campus. Shelter in place means seeking shelter inside of a building. This may be required due to situations such as a hazardous materials incident or in the event of severe weather or a severe weather warning. Be sure to enter the nearest campus building and head to the lowest level possible. If underground shelters are not available, move to the interior rooms or hallways of the lowest floors and get under sturdy pieces of furniture. Make sure you stay away from windows. Hazardous materials incidences, or also known as HAZMAT, may include fuel, chemical, or biological spills, or fires that may result in a dangerous environment. If you are involved in a HAZMAT incident, isolate the area and keep everyone away. If possible, post signs to warn others. If you witness a HAZMAT situation, Evacuate the site and warn others to stay away. In any of these situations, please call the URI Police at 401-874-2121 or use an emergency blue light phone to report the incident. If there is suspicion of a fire and the alarm is sounded, all university buildings affected will be completely and immediately evacuated. If you see or suspect a fire, remain calm and activate the nearest fire alarm and call 401-874-2121. Evacuate the building using the nearest exit. Always use the stairs instead of the elevator. Do not linger near the exit so that others may exit as well. Assisting others, including disabled individuals, is a concern to all, but you should only assist if it does not put you in personal danger. Mobility impaired persons in wheelchairs on non-ground level floors should proceed to the nearest enclosed stairwells and wait for the fire departments to arrive. If you see a mobility impaired person in the stairwell, report the location to the first firefighter you see when safely outside. Visually impaired persons should have a sighted person guiding them to safety. Inform hearing impaired persons of the emergency. Do not assume they know what is happening by watching others. If you are trapped, stuff the cracks around the doors to keep out as much heat and smoke as possible. Open any windows and signal for help. Use available phones. Once you are outside of the building, do not re-enter until fire or police officials say it is safe to do so. Gather at a pre-designated assembly area and report any missing individuals to emergency responders. Be sure to report all fires on campus, even if they appear to be extinguished, false, or accidental. Following these guidelines will assist us in implementing a quick response to a fire on campus.
In the event of a situation on campus, please call URI Police at 401-874-2121. We recommend you also sign up for URI emergency alerts. These alerts will notify you of a situation that may pose a threat or imminent danger here at URI, and also alert you when the situation is all clear. The emergency notification system is also used to keep you informed about class cancellations due to bad weather. You can learn more about the emergency notification system and register your cell and contact information on eCampus or at the address on the bottom of the screen.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope you have found the information helpful and that you will never have to use it.